Good evening, everybody. Yet another interesting book today. I mean, how much more better can it get? How successful people lead. Success and leading, how they go hand in hand. So that's what attracted me about this book today. And author is John Maxwell, who's an expert in leadership. And that's exactly why I picked this book, How Successful People Lead. So this book covers 5 levels of leadership. And again, leadership, is something I say it never goes out of fashion. Because the leaders I work with always, one common question that they keep telling me is, how can I get better as a leader? And, for that, this book is really, really helpful and effective because it helps you to grow as a leader. So it's a very simple and effective book. The author is very smart. He has given the pros and cons of each level of leadership. And he talks about the best behaviors in each level. Not just that, the mindset to grow to the next level of leadership in your journey as a leader. So that's what is very, very interesting, and that's the essence and the crux of this book. And the interesting part is it nudges you. If you're at level 1, can you get to level 2, then 3, 4, 5. So that is the theme that runs through this book. So before discussing each level of leadership, he's given a lot of insights. So let me just pick the top 5 insights on this. He says, you can move up a level, but you never leave the previous level behind. The second, he says, you're not on the same level as everybody else. He says, each one of us are unique in our leadership journey. The third is, the higher you go, the easier it is to lead everybody. The fourth, when you change organizations, you may seldom stay at the same level. So if you're in, let's say, a level 3 in the current organization, and if you move your organization, not necessary you are still a level 3 leader. And the last thing is, you cannot climb the levels by yourself, and you need the kind of extended support to get to the next level. So what are these 5 levels? So he's given them as the 5 P's. The first level, the first P is your position. The second level is your permission. Third is the productive. Fourth, interesting one, people development. And the 5th P, or the 5th level, is the pinnacle. So what is level 1 about? It's about the position of leadership. What does that got to do with your designation? So he says, if you're already a leader in an organization, you have the title of a leader, that's your position. And therefore, you're at the level 1 of leadership. And he says, not just the designation alone doesn't make you a level 5 leader or any other higher levels. You are at the base, you are just a level 1 leader to do with your position. Because position is the starting point. And he says, people are actually following you as a leader because of the position that you carry. So what is the upside of level 1? He says, you have leadership potential, and that is why you are identified at the level 1. And your authority is recognized, and this is an invitation for you to grow into the higher levels of leadership. He also says that immature leaders use their position to drive high performance, whereas mature leaders do it with a lot of self-knowledge and consistency. And he asks a thought-provoking question. What kind of example do you want to set as a leader? Now, what's the flip side to it? He says, this leadership position can be misleading because you may tend to devalue people. Oh, I'm a leader. And then thereby you may tend to devalue people. You could probably feed on just the office politics, and you could also maybe feel lonely because they say leadership is lonely at the top. So the best behaviors in here, he says, is stop relying on your position. Leave your position and move towards people, because leadership is all about people. And the beliefs that will get you to the next level are, He says the titles alone are not enough because people are a valuable asset. And a leader does not have to have answer for all questions. Many times we say, oh, leader has to know everything. He says, no, not necessary. You don't have to know answers for everything. The level 2 of leadership is the permission. He says, you can't lead people until you like people, right? Leadership is all about people, and therefore you have to like people. The upside is you enjoy your work being a leader, your energy level increases, your communication channels opens up, you focus on the value of each person, and you nurture trust. Trust being an important ingredient for leadership. The downside, he says, you may appear too soft. It can be frustrating for achievers, and you could be taken advantage of. The best behaviors here are, he says, connect with yourself before connecting with others, and develop a people-oriented leadership style where you encourage your team and learn to balance between care and candor. The beliefs that will help you to move to level 3 out here are, he says, relationships alone are not sufficient. Grow with the team so that you can achieve the leadership vision. Next is the third level, which is the production. So what does he mean by production? How effective are you as a leader? How can you get things done? How can you deliver the results that you want? And here he says, people follow you because what you have contributed to the organization, right? Because we admire people who deliver the results. So what have you done? He says, good leaders make things happen. They are self-motivated and highly productive. The upside out here is, he says, you're very credible. You have set standards for others to follow suit. You have the clarity and the reality to make the vision come true. Your ability to solve multitude of problems, and you lay the foundation for team building. The flip side again here is you have the heavy weight of responsibility. You may have to take difficult decisions, and continual attention of yours could be required many times. The best behaviors here are, he says, understand your strengths so that you know what you're contributing to the vision of the organization. You're developing your people. You prioritize things that gives you high returns. And you're a change agent, and you never lose sight of your goals, right? So that is the best behavior. And the beliefs that will help you get to the next level are, he says, production alone is not enough. Leaders need to realize the vision. It's important. Leadership is all about vision. What is the vision that you carry, and how are you going to make it come true? And an important line here is, people development is the greatest fulfillment. So that leads me to the level 4, which is about people development. Here he says, people follow you because you have what you have done for them. We all like people who do something for us, right? He says, as a level 4 leader, you have helped somebody, you've contributed to their leadership growth, and that's exactly why people are following you. The upside here is, people development is what sets you apart from other leaders. And it assures that growth can be sustained and at the same time empowering others as a leader. The downside to it is the self-centeredness causes leaders to sometimes neglect the people development. They are so focused on what they are doing because they have to deliver the results, because that's the only focus they have. And as a result, sometimes they may not consider the people development. So they are short-sighted and may lack the commitment. But the best behaviors here, he says, recruit the best people. And he talks about 4 C's here, which he says, check for the chemistry. Check for their character, their capacity, and the contribution that they can bring to the table. Put the right people in the right position. Show how to lead and equip others to do well. Enable people to succeed and measure to maximize efforts. The beliefs out here are develop leaders, not just followers. Create a culture of leadership. People development is a lifetime commitment. and it's not merely a job commitment. The level 5, which is the pinnacle. Here he says, people follow you because of who you are and what do you represent, and they tend to create the legacy. People also have the influence here as a leader, as a level 5 leader, to make a difference. The upside out here is, when you're a level 5 leader, your organization is also operating at level 5. It creates legacy after you and provides an extended learning platform. Do you think it has a flip side? Of course, yes. Because when you're at the level 5, you may think, oh, I have arrived. I have nothing more to learn. And you get carried away, and as a result, you lose the focus. So what are the best behaviors here? Make room for others at the top. Continually mentor the potential level 5 leaders. Create an inner circle so that helps you to keep grounded. Plan your succession, which I think is a very important thing. Many leaders do not tend to have a succession planning, but then plan your succession and leave behind the legacy that you want. And the beliefs that helps others to move up is identify and create crucial lessons that leaders must learn. Not necessarily everybody has to do the same mistake, right? Unexpected moments that leaders can learn from. Teach leaders, because you've been successful, how can others replicate your success? And expose leaders to what the impact that they would be creating. So that is the essence of the book. And if I were to just conclude it, to grow in your leadership journey, here are the top 5 things that you can do. First, commit to getting out of your comfort zone. Second, treat others like how you would like to be treated. Invest time, energy, money, and thinking in growing others as leaders. People are an appreciable asset, and this is something that greatly resonated to me, right? Because we tend to say people are the greatest asset, but people are appreciable assets, because once you start training them and developing them, their value, their contribution, what they bring to the table actually starts to enhance multifold. And lastly, as a leader, do extraordinary things. On the flip side, even though the book is devoid of examples or stories, it could get a little dry, but it's short, power-packed, and an effective read because it helps you to grow as a leader. Whichever level you may be in, it nudges you to get to the next level of leadership. And since it's a short read, I would urge you all to pick up this book, read it, so that you can see where you stand and how you can get to the next level that you may want in your leadership journey. So that's the essence and the summary and the gist of this book. Now let's pick the brains of the industry leaders to see what their thoughts are on this book. Let me start with you, Bala. What are your thoughts on the book?
Check. First of all, good evening to everyone over here, and thank you MMA and Sangeeta for having me here. One evening, late in the evening, Sangeeta, she pinged me in LinkedIn. Hey, we are doing this, are you interested? I said, immediately I said yes, because it is read and grow. I always encourage people to learn from others, but learning from book and growing by reading, it's one level above always. So yeah, thanks for the introduction, Sangeeta. In fact, I would say this book, like she said, power-packed. When I was reading this book, of course, thank you to MMA for giving me the online version, but I have an old school of thought practice. I bought a book myself, and I read all the pages. Like she said, it's power-packed. I took 3 days to finish. Of course, 3, maybe close to 5 hours. to finish reading this book. After reading the book, I got like super energy, as if I am the best leader. This is like watching any Hindi or Tamil movie. A milkman, after 5 minutes of a song, he'll become a multi-billionaire, right? But it's not that easy, because leadership, as he mentioned in the book, it's a process, not a position. Many people take that as a position. Sometimes they use it for the benefit for an individual as well as the organization, right? One more interesting line he mentioned, because I'm seeing a lot of students here. Leadership, it is not like a degree. You attain, she explained over 5 levels. Position is first level. Second is permission. Third is production. As you graduate from one level to different level, you don't stop there. You have to keep improvising. You have to keep learning. You finish MBA. After MBA, maybe you'll do PhD. After PhD, that's it. Education or degree stops. But leadership is not like that. It's a journey. It's a lifelong journey. One who wants to be an effective leader, it needs to be a lifelong process. It has to be effective, planned, most importantly, with purpose. That's quite important when you want to become a leader. When I was going through the book, the first leadership style, which is position, when I became a leader for first time, when I got the title, like she mentioned, I was so immature. Take it from me. I was so immature. Okay, I got the title as a manager. I have a couple of people reporting to me across the country. I was having a quarterly review with one of the subordinate. She was a fresher, maybe with 1-2 years of experience. I was having a quarterly review with her. I was using my position, quite honestly. I was asking questions, not guiding, not helping, but only questions. Then in the end, I asked her, do you have any questions to me? Or any feedback to me? Because that's the usual format we operate, right? We ask and then we ask for feedback as well. She said she didn't even think twice. She was on my face. She said, Bala, you are my manager. I'm your subordinate. As a manager, you please perform your role. You please perform your role. As a subordinate, I will perform my role. It didn't strike me. I asked her, what is this? As a manager, rather than asking questions, support me when I get stuck. Don't escalate. Then it hit me hard. It hit me hard. Maybe if this book was there sometime a few years ago, I should have graduated to level 2, which is permission. But automatically I realized, take it from me, that was a strong message on that day, way back in 2009, to me as a leader, as a first stepping lesson for me to become an effective leader. Then I started finding answers, what I need to do in order to get things done from a team. That question way back in 2009 gave me a lot of answers even till today. I'm still working on the process called understanding, reading, leadership. It's not easy. As she mentioned, it's not easy. But as you move up each level, it becomes easier. Right? So this book, I would say, Sangeeta, it's, as you mentioned, it's quite easy to read because just 170 pages. They're given a lot of practical approach to this book, even though there are few examples or anecdotes may be given, but it's so practical. It was, when I was reading, it was more like a reflection of my own self where I'm standing as a leader, right? I could read my entire journey of 20 years or probably 15 years from the day I got promoted as a manager in 2009 till date 16 years. I understood my leadership journey by reading this book. So thank you once again for that. And looking forward to.
Thanks, Bala. That was a very nice example that you shared. And, I was reminded of the powerful questioning. Yes, as a coach, we always say, the importance of powerful questioning. So thanks for highlighting that. To you, Arvind. So is there anything that you liked really a lot in this book, and is there something that you disliked about the book?
Thank you, Sangeeta. And first of all, thanks for having me here. The book is very effective in its intent, what its purpose is, which is to introduce everyone in a simplistic manner to the levels of leadership, what leadership journey is all about, in putting across that message and presenting a very easy to understand framework with some examples. I think that's probably one of the areas where it could have done better, where they could have given more contextual examples, and not just examples that work, but also where it gets messy, right? But the book, in terms of, it delivers what I think its purpose is, which is provide a framework, simple to understand frameworks with examples, context, behaviors, etc., and delivers the message of leadership is a journey. Powerful leadership is about influence and less about position, right? It is about delivering with purpose. It is taking your people along. It is about creating impact with influence. So I think it does a beautiful job of that, and it's a very quick read. So in that way, it gets people hooked, but it's a door opener for people who are, just starting their careers or journeys or their leadership journeys. I won't say I didn't dislike anything. I would say where the book probably has limitations is that it provides a very simplistic view of what leadership is. As with everything in life, leadership is also messy. It's a messy journey. It's a journey. So think of the book as a Google map that you're looking at for making a long journey. But till you actually make the journey, you don't know whether you're going to hit a narrow road or a bump or a crossed road or, whatever, right? So you have to, and Google Map will give you the path of least resistance, okay? Road to least resistance. So this book is like a Google Map. You use it to guide you, but then you have to experience some things yourself. And leadership is a very deep topic. So in that way, I felt that there could have been more examples. But maybe that was the intent of the book, to introduce you so that you then do your research and put in your hard work to go the journey.
Correct. Absolutely. That's similar as what I also felt. I just thought, giving some examples or little stories could have just made it a lot more juicier, because otherwise it's a tad dry. But still, it is, the positive side of it is, it's really short and, you're able to finish it in a jiffy. So that way it is good. Yeah, I guess everything.
Yeah, and theory can only get you to this. Means you can keep telling your child, don't touch the flame, but till he burns his hand or he or she burns their hand, they don't know that the flame is hot, right? So they have to experience it. So leadership is a bit like that. You have to experience both the positive, and you have to burn your hands and have scars to show before, as you learn.
True, absolutely right, yes. To you, Bala, you've had a vast corporate experience, and one important trait of leadership is trust, right? So how do you think leaders can go about nurturing that trust with their teams? Because without trust, obviously, everything will fall apart.
See, trust, it's a pretty big word. It's an emotion. I always say it's an emotion. It can be done only with relationship. I've had only a couple of conversations with Sangeeta and seeing her for the first time. If I ask her 1,000 rupees, will she give? She will not. Why she will? Because trust is the element. How should I ask 1,000 rupees? For that, I need to spend time with her, build that relationship, meaningful relationship, show her or prove her why I need that 1,000 rupees. That's important. Be it within your friendship, with your professor, relationship professor, be it with a life partner. Similarly, a leader needs to build the relationship with his or her team. When Sangeeta mentioned, when somebody is in level 3 leadership, let's say, which is production, and If this leader moves from job A to job B, can he start from production straight away? How many agree they can start production? Where should they start? No. In terms of leadership level. Which is level 1. What is level 1? Position. Correct? When they give you an offer letter, you come in as a head of department. That's the position you have it. As I told you before, position will not give you success. Right? So you need to earn that. How you'll earn it? You have to spend time, have patience, prove yourself that you're a leader. How to prove yourself as a leader? To your team. Again, I put it across in a simple way. How to earn the trust? We do a lot of mistakes. Individually as well as team, we do a lot of mistakes. Can leader protect or cover someone when they commit a mistake? Of course, mistake can happen once, second time it's a crime. So you need to guide them to see how they can rectify that mistake or give an opportunity to rectify those mistakes. That will enable trust. Like I said before, trust is a feel. Can you see them? You can't. You can only feel it. Two, an escalation happens, be it in office or be it wherever it is. I would say a leader should not react. Instead, can the leader, one, speak up, one, two, can they stand next to them and protect them from the escalation and guide them so that they will not do the same mistake again? Right? Most important thing is, like she said again from the book, the leader should have a clarity. Leader should speak up, should have a clarity. When I say should have a clarity, as a manager, if I don't give a clear picture for my team about the directions or roles and responsibility, what needs to be achieved, then the person will not have any clarity. The trust is not built. Two, am I intentionally taking initiatives for her or his growth? That's also important. Your professor comes to college, just teaches lesson, just walks off. A professor comes to college, gives you a lot of examples, like we discussed that this book was lacking. You guys will be more interested to listen to him. A professor comes to a college, teaches, gives examples, also appreciates your hard work. Appreciates your hard work. Which is good? Third one is good or first one is good? Third one, because he also appreciates he also recognize you. He also recognize what you're doing. He also value your contribution, right? And promises. Whatever promises as a leader we give or commit, we have to ensure those small promises needs to be kept across, right? So there are umpteen number of ways to build trust. It's very, very important. Let me give an example. One of my senior person who was working with me 2 years ago, she left. She was anchoring a big initiative for the organization, running an annual day. We completed 25 years in my previous organization. Annual day plus 25 years celebration. Event was organized. Of course, she got a irresistible opportunity with the different company and she left. I've hired a replacement for her. It just been like close to 3 weeks for her in the system. I told her, you're going to anchor this. She said, this is too much for me. I have not done this scale of event. It's a pretty mega event. And she has not managed the event managers, event coordinators, and working with thousands of employees. She has not done this. I told her, I trust your ability. I trust your ability. I'll stand next to you. And I know you'll deliver it. As a leader, you should trust your team's ability and capability so that they will also trust themselves. And take it from me, one word she always, even today, she recalls one statement. She said, Bala, you said you'll stand next to me. She had all the capabilities, potential to run this event. All she needs is confidence. That small changes, small push from a leader builds the trust. So trust cannot be built overnight. It's a journey again like a leadership, but consistently you have to do it. You can't do only once and second day you just forget about it. Nothing is going to change. You have to build the trust with your team in a consistent manner. That will start building relationship. And once you build the trust, take it from me, you can get things done easily from a team because the relationship builds, they also understand you. Right? So trust plays a vital role in leadership.
Nice. I really liked the essence of what you said is to nurture the relationship with over time, especially, and give them that confidence booster that's required. Yeah, thanks for that, Bala. To you, Arvind. Authors talks about stepping out of the comfort zone. So I'm curious to know if you've had any experiences where you've pushed yourself, where you stepped out of the comfort zone, or any other observation that you would like to talk about comfort zone, because it's so rosy and people are like in the comfort zone like a cocoon. So, but magic happens outside the comfort zone. So it'll be nice if you could talk something about that.
Sure. And before that, if I could just add something to it.
Yes.
So one way to think about trust, there's something called as trust quotient. Look it up on the website. Okay. It's in any relationship or any transaction, whether at office or outside also. Trust is directly proportional to the sum total of credibility, reliability, and intimacy. Okay. I won't explain this. You can look it up. But the more important thing is in the denominator is self-orientation, which means trust is inversely proportional to self-orientation. The higher the self-orientation, the lesser the trust in the relationship. What does that mean? If in a conversation or in any relationship, I am focused on myself, the trust goes down. If I am focused on the other person in that relationship, the trust goes up. So trust is inversely proportional to self-orientation in any conversation, any relationship. And as he rightly said, it takes time to build trust, right? But you do that through reliability, which is consistently living, doing what you say, living up to your commitments, by bringing credibility into that relationship. And intimacy, you create an environment where the person feels safe in discussing things with you and getting intimacy. But the more important thing is, the moment your focus is on the other person, trust goes up. The moment the focus or the intent of the conversation also, it shows through. You may try to mask it, but if your intent is still focused on yourself, even though you're trying to mask it, it will show through. And that